It's a lovely good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and viewers, wherever it is that you could be watching tonight's edition of Wipo Keep. My name is Ken Dumbo, and I am your host. I would love to probably hear from you on whether or not I'm audible enough. Wipo Keep is a program where we host area members of parliament from different constituencies. We've held quite a number of them on this show. The first one was Honorable Sunday Chanda. Then we moved on to Honorable Twambo Mutinta. Then we moved on to Honorable Christopher Kangombe. Then we held Honorable Christopher Shakafuswa. Then we had the Honorable Lloyd Lubusha. Then Honorable Mao Sampa. And just a fortnight ago, we hosted Honorable Paul Kabuswe, who is also Minister of Mines. So today is yet another Wednesday, and I'm glad that we are back. Sincere apologies for last week. We couldn't make it because our guest turned us down. Yeah, I will not reveal who the guest was supposed to be because we are hoping that maybe they'll give us a second chance. But if we try again and they turn us down, we'll open it up to the constituents so that the people in the constituency itself can, come on the show and just share with us what development looks like in the constituencies. For now, I'll beg that you can kindly share this live stream and mention as many people as possible for them to join so that we have a fruitful interaction. We are hosting the youngest member of parliament. I'm super excited because for the longest of time, we have been crying as young people that we need to be given opportunities to serve. And the person I'm hosting today is the youngest member of parliament in Zambia, unless if I'm mistaken. But last time I checked the records, he is the youngest member of parliament, still a youth, by the way. And he's he's not an MP that is in the public for all the wrongdoings. I don't think he has ever been chased in parliament because of misconduct or anything like that. So I'm super excited because for all young people abanetifuna kungenako mu parliament, abanetifuna kupunzirako usogoleri, this could be an opportunity for us to learn from somebody who is young and has been contributing in parliament and doesn't really have a scandal that I can think of. What Wanamupisha or Obkanji. No. I have not heard anything of that nature. So it'll be a very interesting conversation that a number of us as young people can probably learn from. So I will be hosting Honorable Imanga Wamunyima. He is the area member of parliament for Nalolo constituency. Now, Nalolo constituency is in the western province of the Republic of Zambia. And it is also interesting to know that Honorable Wamunyima is the only member of parliament under the party that he is actually representing. So he's representing the PNUP party. All right, he is representing the PNUP party, and we're going to get to know more about what that is all about. So Honorable Wamunyima will be joining me shortly, and once we are set, we'll obviously bring him to the stage. So if you have any questions, ladies and gentlemen, you are free to comment in the comment section. Let us know where you're watching from. And if you have any questions, if you have any queries, please make sure you put them in the comment section. We shall be talking to Honorable Imanga Wamunyima, and he is already here. So I think we might as well start this conversation if he is ready. Honorable, are you ready for me? All right, let's bring the Honorable to the stage. Yeah. All right, Honorable, it is a pleasure to have you on this show. Your mic is okay. It's finally on. Thank you so much.
It is a
I'm
pleasure.
so grateful that you are my guest this evening. I caught you on short notice, but you didn't turn me down. I don't take that for granted. Maybe first things first, how have you been, Honorable?
Thank you very much, Ken. I'm delighted to join you today. I don't know if I'm audible. Um,
I,
I've been
I
okay.
can get you from my end. I just don't know if our viewers are able to get you, but I think if I can get you, then even our viewers are able to get you.
Okay, no, that's fine. So I'm happy to join you, and I'm excited to have this interaction. I've been okay. My day has been fine. We're just from joining the house an hour ago. I don't know how you've been.
No, I've been okay. I'm grateful. Obviously, before this live stream, I was just having class, but then I realized that time had moved, and so I had to make sure that I prepare for this show. So knowing that we had already informed our viewers and our followers that we're going to have you as our guest. But thank you so much once again for finding time. Parliament just opened a few days ago. I noticed that prior to that, you were busy at the constituency level, because I tried to get in touch with you last week. Unfortunately, your mobile phone was not going through, and I assumed that you were in the constituency and maybe the network was not very good. It has been 4 years of you as area member of parliament for Nalolo constituency, and the Party for National Progress and for National Unity and Progress, PNUP. How would you describe your 4 years as member of parliament for Nalolo?
Um, well, my 4 years, Ken, and thank you for that question, has been, I can describe it in one word before I break it down. So, it's been about growth. It's been about growth because Parliament is not what you expected as you are aspiring. You have a lot of aspirations. You want to achieve all these things. You feel you can do all these things. But it's also been about learning the governance system and coming from, a background of being the only member of parliament from that political party. It's been also intensive in parliament to strike the balance where, based on your views, you're either considered siding with the bigger right or the bigger left. So it's been that juggling and trying to see how objective you can be. So it's not been easy, and also you have the stigma of being a youth in parliament. So being so mindful that your conduct does not bring disrepute to the people who've entrusted you with the sacred responsibility to represent them.
Interesting. And I was almost coming to the fact that one, unless if our records are wrong, but as things stand, you are the youngest member of parliament. And this is at a time when a lot of young people are looked at as not to be ready to serve in these positions of public leadership. So one, coming from a political party that only has one member of parliament, which is you, and also being the youngest member of parliament, what are some of the challenges? Obviously, you've mentioned a few, but maybe just get deeper for us, because being young amongst all those elders, like you said, there's a lot that is really expected of you. So how have you tried to navigate and ensure that you still do your job despite being the youngest person, and also despite being the only member of parliament from the political party that you represent?
Ken, thank you for your question. You're right. I am the youngest when I was elected. It was 7 months after my 29th birthday. So I am currently 33. And uh, when we came to your school, I think you were slightly a few grades ahead of me to debate with Naboye and Kafiwe. But yeah. So coming to your question, one thing that I will be very honest is that there is no perfect template of being a good member of parliament, apart from understanding that before yourself is the people. And one thing I did when I was elected was to identify a mentor who has been in parliament much longer, just to understand, and who came at a younger, a slightly younger age, and how they managed. So what has constantly kept me afloat is the realization that you know, I am not there for myself. I am there for the people. So if my conduct becomes questionable, it is to the shame of those who elected me. And also, Ken, I have been very clear uh, for many years that I want to serve the people. It's been my passion. So I spent time preparing, and as a young person, also your life changes, your routines change. Every now and then, of course, you can try to get to your old routine, but it's very difficult. So I think what has helped me is to identify mentors and be able to listen more than I talk, and to have the humility to be corrected, but also to have the strength to represent my people without being biased. So as a young person, it's been like that. Belonging to a sole political party has been tough because, like I've said, you are, our National Assembly was polarized to the extent that you are not seen. You are either pro PF or pro UPF. Even the independents are described that way. So it's like you're between two elephants, and you have to project this different kind of politics. But sufficient to say, it's been interesting.
Interesting, Honorable. Now, 2021 elections were quite intense, and you being member of parliament for Nalolo, I can only assume that you probably didn't have it easy, especially that you come from a political party that was probably deemed as an underdog at that particular moment, because the political parties that seem to be in this fight was the UPND and the Patriotic Front. And so obviously in most constituencies, the assumption is that any member of parliament that can come from that particular constituency would either be PF or a UPND. As a young man at 29 years old and standing for a political party that was probably referred to as an underdog, how did you manage to win the seat? And I'm asking this question knowing that there are a lot of young people coming next year that would love to probably stand, but they don't even know where to start from. They don't even know how to go about, having their name known to the public to an extent of winning the election. How did you make it?
Okay, no, thank you very much, Kane. I want to also mention that just a bit of political history. Before I participated in the 2021 elections under the PNUP, I must state that I was a full-time member of the UPND in Lusaka Central constituency, and that was as early as 21 years old. And I was actually serving in the Lusaka Central constituency executive. And in 2015, in the by-elections, when we lost President Sata, I was part of the presidential campaign team at constituency level in Lusaka Central Constituency under the UPNG. And then our team leader was Mr. Chile Kwamkonge, then for Lusaka Central. So, and in 2016, I had aspirations to participate in Nalolo constituency as a member of parliament at parliamentary level, but the family had consensus that I was still young, and I was 24 then, 23, 24, somewhere there then. So I did not contest, but I had a footprint there because that is where I hail from. Both my parents are born and bred there. I have been a visitor there, and it's where I come from. So fast forward 2018, 2019, once I moved from Lusaka and started staying in Western Province, I was working for civil society, an NGO called Caritas Czech Republic. I resuscitated my ambition to participate in the elections at parliamentary level. And it's from that angle that, because of my inactivity in politics for a few years, I linked up with the PNUP because I had known President Hamadou from the UPND, and I thought it would be a good ticket to try on, because then the adoption process under the UPND was heavily, polarized with numerous candidates and so on. So first of all, Ken, I had been trying or planning for this from 2016. Then also, I had to resign from my former employment, which meant that, all my gratuity from that employment from civil society went to the campaigns. That was a risk that I undertook. And also, because of having started work at an early age, I had a network of people who supported me financially. I will tell you the truth, Ken. Sometimes, and by and large, elections are not cheap, are not a cheap undertaking. But you need some form of support, and I'm happy to state that the political party that sponsored me supported me. So when I went into Nalolo, uh, it was with the aspiration to win. Of course, it was not easy among other candidates from other bigger political parties. But what helped us, Ken, was that, in 2021, because of the COVID-19 guidelines, we were not having mass rallies. So I feel it was a blessing in disguise to have smaller meetings in the villages or in the community, because it brought real interaction apart from a mass rally where you're just talking to people and people can't interact with you. So when we had those interactions, I think it was very helpful for me, because one advantage I had over other candidates is that I touched the the far-flung areas of the constituency. Nalolo is divided by the Zambezi River, and you wish to note that it's got the east and west banks, so it's very difficult for candidates to get around. But I think with the little resources we had, we got to all the areas, and we had this, quiet. I would say I'll call it quiet because there was no rallies of some sort, but this intensive interaction with the people on the promise that once elected, we will serve for them. So the dynamics in Nalolo were quite, different, because you may wish to know, Ken, that Nalolo constituency has in the past been a constituency that always has its own pattern of voting. In 2016, they voted for an independent candidate. And in 2011, they voted for a PF candidate. In 1996, they voted for a Zadeco candidate. In 2000, MMD. So it seems that it's a constituency that makes history. But sufficient to say, that is how I navigated, and I did not see myself really as a, you know, a weak candidate. I felt that I put up a strong case at grassroots level, and I resisted also the temptation of projecting myself as being really, really a major candidate. So all the big guys were not focusing on me, but were fighting amongst each other, and I was there busy trying to be the middle end of the people.
Interesting. Now, the Whipple Keep show, Honorable, is a show that allows members of your constituency and members that probably look up to you as an inspiration or have heard something about you to just hear from you about your journey as a leader of a constituency, and maybe get to ask some questions regarding maybe some of the things that have been happening to you as member of parliament, but also in terms of development for your constituency. Recently, we noticed, obviously, we saw that parliament was open, and the president, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, highlighted quite a number of things that have been done under his reign as president and under the reign of the United Party for National Development in government. And with this, we want to get to know more about the development that have happened in Nalolo constituency. The president emphasized the fact that CDF is a game changer. However, some of your fellow members of parliament have also said CDF is a scam, meaning they have difficulties maybe in implementing some of the CDF projects. Maybe just run us through some of the things that have happened, not just CDF related, but also some of the developmental projects. I know that issues to do with development are not really under the office of the area member of parliament, but you do work hand in hand with maybe the council in your constituencies and different other councillors, the DCs and the mayors in constituencies. Maybe for the purposes of people that are watching us from Nalolo constituency, just run us through some of the developmental projects that have happened in the 4 years that you've been leader of the constituency.
Thank you very much, Ken. Yes, and just in answering your question, I want to dispel one myth, especially when it comes to development under CDF. The member of parliament, when it comes to the Constituency Development Fund, plays a major role. Now, I'll tell you this, the CDF as a fund, the Constituency Development Fund as a fund, sits in the office of the member of parliament.
Yes.
The council is a secretariat of that fund. So what does that entail? In the interest of oversight, the law was changed to allow the MP not to be the implementer, but to give oversight and strategic leadership. So what it means, Ken, is that the majority of the members of the CDF committee are nominated by the member of parliament. So by and large, at the approving stage, the member of parliament provides leadership. So now, when it comes to CDF, I will tell you this: if as a member of parliament, you do not give oversight on the council, you do not show interest in seeing that what is approved at committee level is implemented, then it won't be done. So CDF is not a scam. CDF is a scam to the extent of your involvement in ensuring that once the ward development committees submit those approvals to the council, you as the area member of parliament must ensure the council and the CDF committee chairperson call for a meeting to approve. If you don't do it, they won't call for a meeting. It will take them 6 months to say, no, I will receive this WD. So that is what makes people call CDF a scam. Now, coming to what we've done in Nalolo constituency, we've done quite a lot when it comes to CDF. In terms of community projects, since 2021, we've done over 70 community projects, and all these are spread out in all the wards. Then, other developmental achievements is that apart from providing clean and safe water to schools that never had running water, providing, infrastructure in terms of desks to schools. Remember, Ken, when free education was pronounced, we had an
Mm,
influx of children who never went to school coming to school. So it created a problem for the entire country, particularly in the rural setup, where you had inadequate classroom space. You had already inadequate infrastructure. So it gave a need to build additional classroom, to meet that. So, for example, in the constituency, we've procured over 7,000 desks locally made, and these have
mm,
affected over 25,000 learners, uh, and who could have been sitting on the floor. Now, this is the impact of CDF. There's an area in my constituency, Ken, if I was to take you there, you'd be surprised that are we really in Zambia? Because when you're in that area, you're not too far off from Angola. And in that area, the, there was no access to safe water. And there we've done solar powered schemes. So CDF is very impactful. Then through lobbying and through, lobbying for development of the executive, we've had one road that has been attended to bituminous standard. The Moyo
mm,
Road from the Mongus Senanga Road to the palace of Her Royal Highness the Litungalambuela. That road has never been done since independence, but it's been done. It's about 3.2, 3.3 kilometers to bituminous standard. Never done before. That's been done. You can't even talk of a new structure for, Her Royal Highness herself. We go to EC hubs, Ken. We have 6 early childhood centers being built, and these ECE hubs have never been there. And
mm,
these are being built through, the support from the World Bank. These hubs have all-weather ECE facilities for young children who are enrolling to school. Talk of sports areas, talk of areas for sanitation with, you know, they come with water. They are being currently constructed in Silowana Ward. We have in Okolo Ward, we have in Moyo. That is being done. Then we have an additional construction that is happening now for a secondary school, Likuma Secondary School, that is through the World Bank.
mm,
It's under construction, never happened before. We have Nalolo boarding school. The works had stalled since 2017. Now, when you got 2017 to 2021, that's like 4 years. Now, government has released 12.5 million kwacha for the construction, for the completion of that school, which was at 85%. So
mm,
as of next year, contractors already on site, even as we are here, as of next year, that will be the first official gazetted school. And we thank the previous people that were there before us for having had started it. And now, it's taught because obviously there were not enough resources. This is just one of the many developments that I can talk about. We can talk about 15 of our schools that are receiving health rooms in partnership with Healthy Learners, which is a civil society organization. Healthy rooms to reduce our girl children from not coming to school because of period poverty, to reduce uh, our children from leaving the classroom because they have to walk 10, 15 kilometers to a health facility. So some of these health rooms are already functional
mm,
in the schools. So there's been a lot that's been happening, and you know, currently we are trying by all means to through working with the executive and through budgeting. We do the budget, and at budget time, it's our time to ensure that we, through the Ministry of Finance, we inquire why this project is not being budgeted for. Can we have this budgeted for? I think that's how the other angle that as members of parliament, which the public do not see, that when the appropriation bill is being done, what do the members of parliament do? Do they just rubber stamp, or they interrogate the budget to ensure that the national cake is equally distributed? So Ken, those are some of the developments that I can mention off cuff. There are many more, there's so much more that can be done, but obviously it's just been 4 years, but the significance is huge. I can't even talk about my own citizens or the people from within the constituency who are getting recruited through the decentralized recruitment process. It's no longer a Lusaka issue where you're employed from Lusaka, but they are getting employed. The teachers from there are getting employed from there and teaching from there, you know. So you can see all this, that we've had the enabling environment as members of parliament through CDF to influence and give oversight that the development agenda moves. So it's not true that CDF is a scam. It's a scam if you want to leave it. If you don't give oversight on it, no one is going to do it, because that is your constitutional role.
So many things that you've highlighted as being done in your constituency, Honorable, and I must say kudos to you and your team for the things that are being done, because obviously when facilities like the ones that you've mentioned are brought closer to the people, then we are assured that people are, you know, living a good life. They're not having difficulties when it comes to issues of school. They're not having difficulties when it comes to issues of health facilities. All those problems are at least reduced. There were concerns by the president during the opening of parliament that despite the fact that government has allocated these funds, unfortunately, some suppliers, or is it contractors, are not doing quite a good job in most constituencies. You find that despite the fact that the monies have been allocated, it's either the delivery period is not met, or if the projects are done, they are of substandard. How has been the situation in Nalolo constituency, where contracts and the suppliers supplying whatever they have to supply has been like?
Ken, it goes without saying, it's been a challenge, and it still is a challenge. First of all, I reached a stage where I told the council that if the supplier cannot deliver quality works, we have to separate and terminate the contract. I will tell you one thing, and we are alive to what caused this poor performance by local suppliers. It's because when the CDF was enhanced to its current scale, they were not, you know, most of them were not really getting the business at district level. So you have a situation where most of them are new in business. So I'll give you an example. You know, there are a number of contracts in Nalolo which we have had through the local authority. We have had to terminate because of poor quality or because of delayed service delivery. We have people who have been paid advance payments to supply desks, and they just never deliver. And now the local authority has had to recover resources either through a court process or through advance bonds. And some of them, we're lucky that now we have legal officers. We never had legal officers in our establishment. So it's not been easy. It's been a major problem. There's been a lot of, that is why I'm saying that, you know, it also takes you as a member of parliament to go to the council and or to write to them and say, I want to inspect all the projects. And when you go there with the director engineering, you are there on site, you're asking, why has this project taken 6 months? To build a 1x3 classroom should take 3 months to the most, if funding is there. So we've had numerous examples. One example I can give is Luambi Primary School in Mukukutuat. The contractor there could just not get the work done. Over a year, we're talking of the 1x3. The quality is bad. They have to change the door frames. Just right now, in one of the schools in Kambaiwat, in Nalolo West, the contractor there delivered poor quality solar panels for the classroom, poor quality battery. I mean, and when with this new curriculum, ICT has become a requirement. So we can't have a school build a 1x3 that is not solar powered. So the situation, as the president said, it has not been easy. We've had contractors who get advance payment, the guy disappears, but or some of them just take 1 year. Like we have one contractor who spent a year building a dormitory. We had to ensure that that contract was terminated and recontract to someone who can complete. So it's not been easy, and the community is usually up in arms because they do not blame the contractor; they blame the council and the member of parliament. That's how the governance setup is. Why is the council delaying to have this project complete? How do we build a dormitory for over 12 months? So it's those challenges are very common at rural setup, and that is why you would hear of blown off roofs mostly in these areas, where when the wind comes, it's blown off because maybe the roofing was not put with the correct trusses, or the diameter of the iron sheets was wrong. So it also takes committed and passionate engineers from the council to have to check the depth. So it's not been easy, and I agree with the president. But I think with time, the contractors have begun building capacity. I think as years come, we've seen the improvement of most of them to deliver.
Don't you think to some extent the limitation to have the suppliers and the contractors coming from within the constituency has probably contributed to some of this poor workmanship and results? Don't you think it would be nice to open it up to other suppliers out of beyond the constituency? What if you want someone to build, but then there are no contractors or suppliers with capacity in the constituency, or if they have the capacity, it is that of poor standard? Don't you think that to some extent has contributed to some of the poor workmanship that we have seen so far in various constituencies?
Well, first of all, I'd like to agree with you. The biggest challenge has been that limitation of local contractors. But now with time, the local authority have been allowed to outsource contractors where they seek authority and give justifiable reason during the procurement process. So that was a big issue. And I think the priority one is to get local contractors. But where local contractors seem not to have the capacity to deliver, the local authorities now have the opportunity to get a waiver to outsource. So in the beginning, yes, it was a big problem, and I think councils and constituencies have learned the hard way, and that is why I think through the Ministry of Local Government and the ZPPA, they've made opportunities. Because remember, this whole procurement process, goes to an extent where contracts of supply of goods and services are now approved by the Attorney General here in Lusaka. So what has happened now, Ken, is that in instances where it is clear that we will have a problem here in service delivery, authorities is sought to outsource. But that was really a major problem in the beginning.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Honorable. Now, to everybody that is watching us, you'll be allowed to call in and just ask some of the questions that you have for the Honorable. The number will be showing on the screen very soon. nimina wabayinzi kwa Nalolo constituency luwata kutwa kumina. So it would be nice for you to just ask the questions that you have to your area member of parliament. So it can either be via call or via text message. So if you have a question, you can comment in the comment section, or later on when the phone number is uploaded, then you can call that particular phone number. There was a question in one of the posts that I put up, Honorable. Somebody wanted to know why Ukolo Primary School in Ukolo Ward, they don't have classes. They don't have classes. I don't know, made out of bricks. I think that's what they are trying to say. I don't know if you are aware about this particular school, and if there is any interventions being done, what is it?
Oh, thank you very much, Ken. Ukolo Primary School, I am aware that it does not have a permanent structure. And it's not the only school, unfortunately, which does not have a permanent structure. I think what our people must take into consideration is that we cannot adequately attend to everything. Ukolo Wat, for example, at Sikelenge Primary School, there was no permanent structure. We have, through the Constituent Development Fund, put a permanent structure there. Nalolo Primary School in Ukolo Wat had no proper structure, permanent structure. Currently, the permanent structure has been put there. At Kalamba Primary School, there's an EC have been built. So what it is, Ken, is that you have this situation with CDF where the people in the constituency do not look at CDF as a ward. They look at, some people look at it within their zone to say, what about in our zone? Why isn't this attended to? Whereas, the ward development committees prioritize what they feel should be the manner in which, or the sequence in which CDF should be implemented. So I am aware, and there has been applications through that, and will be considered based on priority. So Ukolowat itself had ranked in priority these other schools that we've attended to. And by the way, other than CDF, through the intervention of government under the Ministry of Education, the structure being built at Nalolo Primary School is not CDF. That is through, grant aided to the Ministry of Education through our engagement with, Minister Douglas Siakalim. So there's a lot that is happening. We've actually built some staff houses there in Ukolo Ward for the health center and for one school. So there's something happening, but I sympathize with people in that particular zone who can't wait for for their school to be, come to a permanent structure. There are still several schools that are, we need to attend to.
All right. Thank you so much. Another question came from Ephraim Wabo Kasiwa, who wanted to know why the council has not bought any road machinery. And I'm thinking this is probably because a number of councils around the country have bragged having bought earth-moving equipment for purposes of making roads. So there is a query as to why the council in your constituency has not bought any road machinery. And before you answer that question, let me just emphasize that the phone line is now open. So kuwawa watakwateni kuluma phone, you can call, and then the honorable member of parliament will be able to answer that question. Maybe before you can answer that question, honorable, can we also just pick up this caller? Good evening.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Ken.
How are you, sir?
I'm all right. How are you?
All right, thank you. Your name and where you're calling us from?
So my name is Richard. I'm calling you from Luampa.
Luampa.
Yes.
We have Honorable Wamunyima.
Wamunyima, Mchwani.
Iketile bo Richard Mchwani kafoni mbaba sami na shamba.
We get to. Okay, so thank you very much. First and foremost, allow me to appreciate you, Ken, for bringing our useful member of parliament. As for me, I think the question of whether we should retain him or not, to answer that question, first of all, I would say I think we need him back in Parliament, because not only I always tell people, young people in Western provinces, that Honorable Imanga is not only a member of Parliament for Nalolo. No, I think he is a member of Parliament for all of us from Western Province. And if we can have that thing in our mind, by looking at it in those areas, I think will benefit. Why I'm saying this is, look at this. Everyone, if you go in Mangango, in Kaoma, in Wampa, in Lukul, all of us are talking about CDF. But if you look at the energies that Honorable Imanga is putting in, I think even everyone, even if I'm not a member of Parliament, but when I look at the Honorable Imanga, it motivates me to say, okay, if Honorable Imanga has made it from the areas of Nalolo, I've been in Nalolo before even that road was done. I've seen how, I don't want to speak other things, but I've seen how that road has been transformed, and I've seen how the district is trying to reach that level where people, they can say there is development. I think he has scored in those areas. But what I just want to maybe try to challenge Honorable Imanga Wamunyima a little bit is that, yes, away from issues of CDF, people are building maternity annex, people are building schools, people that are putting water reticulations, and these other things that are under the jurisdictions of CDF. At what point are we going to say, okay, suppose now schools are done building schools, we are done building clinics, we are done everything, we are done with the schools, all my school welfare, we are here, every school has got my classes, everything is done. Okay, in short, we've exhausted the aspect of us building schools and clinics. At what point are we going to say, or in what other fields are we going to inject these monies? Number one. Number two question is that the issue of higher education, Honorable Imanga, is very important. For you to be where you are, there are some issues that has made you to be where you are. But majority of our leaders in Western Province, in as much as we are talking about CDF, it's to a lesser extent that people will motivate other people, the young people, to go and do higher education. Higher education like what? Ken Dumbo is a journalist there. He's articulating issues. Honorable Imanga, look at your heavy CV there. Who doesn't want to associate with him? But majority of our leaders, they just want us to go and do those skills, of which for me, I accept that they're very important. But I think it's high time, Honorable Imanga, you tell us the truth that even higher education is very important. From Nalolo, who can be the next treasurer? From Nalolo, who can be the next.
You can conclude, sir. You can conclude, sir. We give an opportunity to others.
Yeah. So in my conclusion, what initiatives do you have, Mr. Imanga, for the people of Nalolo, aside the issue of CDF, higher education? What are your comments on that? Otherwise, thank you very much, Ken. We are following the processes. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. We're grateful. All right. Before we can pick up another call, Honorable, maybe you can answer to those two questions: why the machineries have not been bought, but also the concerns that have been raised by the brother that has just called us.
Okay, thank you very much, Kane. And just to appreciate our brother who called us from Wampa, and I'll start with the machineries. The machineries were not bought or procured because they were not a priority for the community. CDF has been priority driven. So I feel that we've reached a stage now where the community now is saying at least we can do roads that lead to proper infrastructure, not roads that will lead to Poland mud. So I think for the 2025 applications, we will see applications for those yellow machines. And because also there's been a presidential directive to reserve 3 million kwacha for, local roads. Now, I'll say this, Ken Dumbo, the dynamics of the constituencies differ. Now, Nalolo is not just rural, it is also extremely remote. So the community there would rather have a health post to reduce walking 10 to 15 kilometers than to just buy earth-moving equipment to do a road that no one would drive on. So what I will say now is that after most of these priorities have been attended to, which are in my view now, the community seems to say, okay, now we can be able to procure this. Then coming to the gentleman who was speaking, um, he will agree with me that, for example, in Nalolo, part of our CDF has done a setup of an agriculture training center where we want to train young people and women in various agriculture practices exclusive of the traditional rice farming. Now, that particular training center has not been operationalized because it's in partnership with a private entity that is still preparing to come on board because government has done its part by setting it up. The Barroso establishment gave land, so it's more like a public-private partnership. Now, when it comes to higher education, the gentleman will understand that I have also been a strong voice of higher education. Ken, I'll tell you one thing is that from my constituency office, I have several students who I have been recommending to the University of Zambia. Some of them are 100% bursary through recommendation from my constituency office. And this is open, it's not subject to scrutiny, there is no appointment. Then I also went in partnership with other universities like Supershine University, Blessing University. We were able to give support and scholarships to our learners from Nalolo, in the last 2 years. Then also I am still a fierce advocate for the construction of King Liwanika University in Western Province. And I do agree with the colleague that, when it comes to, improving the welfare of higher education, perhaps we can do better as lawmakers.
All right. Interesting. Thank you so much for that feedback, Honorable. And so to those of us, for those of you that still want to call and ask any question or offer any words of encouragement to the Honorable Member of Parliament, the phone line is open. You can call or you can still comment in the comment section. Maybe let's take time to also read some of the comments that have just come through from our social media platform. Zulu Osias says he's a good man, and Nalolo people, I think, in my opinion, you are lucky to have such an MP. They have given you 10 out of 10, Honorable.
That's good.
Then, sure. There is one concern, though this is not really on your part, on your constituency part, but Grayson Katapazi says, is CDF for people who belong to a party or what? Because some of us, we haven't been given anything in our constituency. We tried to apply, but nothing has come out since 2021. But then this one is in Lilai. I know that you can maybe just explain to them how the CDF thing works, but obviously it's beyond your jurisdiction. Melo Media says, great initiative, Ken Dumbo, Honorable Imanga Wamunyima, Nalolo MP, we rally behind you and we support your endeavors. Okay, those are some of the questions that have, the comments that have come through. Maybe knowing that you have been in Parliament the whole day, Honorable, I'll ask the last question that I ask all the members of Parliament, and this is whether or not you are thinking of recontesting your seat as a Member of Parliament for Nalolo. Is it something that you're thinking about? Is it something that you've already made up your mind on? Or maybe now levels have changed, you're thinking of becoming President of the Republic of Zambia?
That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one, Ken. Without a doubt and without any fear of contradiction, I want to state on your program that I am recontesting my seat in Nalolo constituency, and I went through around the constituency to ask the people if they feel I should recontest, and the feedback has been amazing. They are saying, Honor, please recontest your seat. So I will be on the ballot, in 2026. There is no doubt or question about it. I'm resolved to recontest my seat. I feel that the first year for me has been an issue of building capacity, Ken. I mean, parliamentary work, most people, the public pursue it as sitting in parliament, they are saying, yeah, yeah, yeah. But obviously, there's a lot in the background. You know, I've been a member of the Public Accounts Committee. So I've been interacting with all ministries through my committee work and understanding how government operates. And be championing other causes on climate, and which is why I was the only MP to be selected to the Global Changemaker Academy in Germany, Bonn. So for me, it's all about delivering to the people, and I feel that I have only built more capacity to deliver for the people of Nalolo once again, if they give me the mandate, and which I believe, you know, it will be in they are the deciders, but I have gone around. I do not feel there's any need for me to, in my current position, to aspire for anything, you know, above being member of parliament. For now, I want to focus on, you know, giving the people of Nalolo the type of representation that will change the narrative.
All right, Honorable, before we wrap it up, let's get this call. Good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. How are you, Dumbo? Good evening, Honorable.
We are okay, thank you. Maybe concentrate on talking to us on the phone instead of getting us from the other phone where you are watching us on.
Good evening, Kenny.
Good evening, thank you. Your name and where are you calling us from?
Yes, I'm calling from Mpongwe.
Okay.
Yes, Moro Precious.
So we have Honorable Wamunyima on the show.
Hello?
We have Honorable Wamunyima on the show. Your contribution or question to him?
Yes, I want to ask the honorable member, first of all, I want to appreciate the work he has done in his constituency. He has explained to us very well, and we have seen that he's a very hard-working MP. Now, my question, maybe may have to, from his constituency, but the public concern. He is a member of parliament, and most of the people in Zambia this time, they ask me about the limitation. Now, the question is, that I would like to take him back. Last time when we had the PF, the limitation was included in the building. And again, as you changed, we have the limitation is also into 7. Now, what is, if you do 7, it's not going to go through. The limitation is going to be there, because the like in Pongwe was under Masaiki. So when this, so when at the time Pongwe Constituency was created, it there was no any other deal. It was just created as a constituency without the going through any deal, because it's constitutional. After 10 years, they have to do the limitation. So my question is, if you 7 fail, are we going to have
delimitation?
Why delimitation? Why can't we have delimitation on its own without putting it into 7?
All right, your question is loud and clear, sir. Thank you so much. To ask the honorable, he will answer. All right. So, honorable, I think that's a serious concern. The caller wants to know, and obviously is asking you this question, knowing that you are a member of parliament and these are issues that you discuss. So the question is, under Bill 10, there was an issue of delimitation, but the Bill 10 fell off. And now we had another bill that had included delimitation, which has been deferred. can delimitation still go ahead without being part of a bill?
Thank you, Ken, and I'm very happy to answer this question because it's a question I'm very well competent to answer on. First of all, I would like to take the caller back to understand that he must remember that President Edgar Lungu, the late president, our 60th president, brought in a new constitution somewhere in 2016. So in the previous constitution, before that 2016 constitution, delimitation was not tied to the constitution. So the constitution was silent. The 1996 constitution was silent on how many constituencies Zambia should have. And it placed the responsibility of delimitation on the Electoral Commission of Zambia, which should happen every 10 years. And that is what was happening. So when the 2016 constitution was signed at Hero Stadium by former President Edgar Lungu, may he rest in peace, it introduced an article in the constitution which says that there shall be 156 constituencies, while leaving the mandate of delimitation still with the ECZ. Now, to answer his question, it is not possible to conduct a successful delimitation exercise without a constitution amendment bill. So that is why the ECZ in 2019 did a delimitation list. They could not execute it because that article in the Constitution says there shall be 156 constituencies. So if they introduce other constituencies, they have to amend that article to what will be the new number of constituencies. So to answer his question, it is not possible to do delimitation without opening up the Constitution. However, if the people, through the consultations that the president will proceed, if the people feel all they need is delimitation, then you can just have a constitution amendment bill that would just focus on delimitation. But remember, Ken, the Constitution is such a sacred document that each time you want to do an amendment, you would want to do any other amendment which is possible so that you avoid having strenuous or consistent constitutional amendments. So that is why the PF then in Bhutan had to include delimitation. Even now, the current government has to include delimitation because there is no other way. So if delimitation has to be done, it has to be through the constitutional amendment bill.
As we end our program, Honorable, just to follow up on the question, on the response that you gave about wishing to recontesting your seat. Now your president has gone in partnership with the government of the day, which is the UPND. As you stand, are you standing under PNUP or you are standing under UPND or under the alliance itself? I don't know how it works, but I'm sure people would love to know under which party ticket you wish to stand
on. Thank you very much, Ken. And I was expecting this question. I get this question a lot in the constituency, especially after the pronouncement of the alliance between the PNUP and the UPND. I will participate in the elections within the framework of the alliance. And the UPND alliance has a council of presidents, it has a council of secretary generals. So by being part of the alliance, it means that my participation in the elections will be within that existing framework when the time comes. But however, without a doubt, I am recontesting my seat.
Honorable Wamunyima, I would love to thank you for finding time or for sparing time to be my guest on this week's episode of Whip or Keep. I don't take your time for granted. It means a lot to me, and obviously it means a lot to the viewers and the people that have been following us on the live stream this evening. Maybe your concluding remarks as we end the live stream.
Thank you very much, Ken, for hosting me. on this very important program of yours. I would like to thank those who've been following, those in Nalolo, Lusaka. I'm grateful for their support, and just also to commend you for initiating this program. It's not an easy task to bring MPs and have them, be able to speak for themselves, because I think this is a very crucial time, and most MPs are reluctant to face the real scrutiny. But I'm happy, and we are always available to engage. And I think politics is about divergence. People cannot always agree, but I think what we have consensus on is that Zambia is our country. It deserves a certain type of leadership. And I think you, as a media personality, who with these numbers are doing a great service to this country, which we cannot ignore, because you are bringing to the fore, elected leaders to be able to interact across the country on a social media. And we've had figures of how there's increased social media. So again, I'm so grateful. The listeners and the viewers, I'm delighted. Hopefully, in the future, we'll have this opportunity to engage again.
Definitely, we shall. Thank you so much, Honorable, and have a lovely night.
All right, thank you. Good night.
Thank you so much to everybody. We'll be back next week again with another edition of Whipper Keep. Until then, it's bye-bye. And remember to be peaceful, and let's unite as Zambians. Thank you.